Xfinity, and the Cup Series all head to Watkins Glen this weekend. We give you a betting edge next on the NASCAR Betting Preview Show. Our betting preview show. I'm your host, Derek Yoder, and with Indy now in the rear view, Xfinity and the Cup Series all head to Watkins Glen this weekend, which is expected to be a tremendous race. We just saw what happened at Indy Road Course. No stage breaks. That was pretty eventful for no stage breaks. No cautions that are coming out, when we know that. So that was a lot of fun to watch. The NASCAR Betting Preview Show is presented by Atlas Hair. Atlas is an elite line of hairstyling products with cologne fragrances. So get started today at atlashair.com. Use the promo code NASCAR for 20% off your entire order. That's atlashair.com, ATLASHAIR.com. For those of you watching on YouTube, welcome. Make sure you smash the like button, hit subscribe. It helps our partners out over at In Between Media. They have a lot of content coming out, obviously fantasy football, golf, you name it, they got it. So make sure you're supporting them as well. By now, everybody here listening, you know the group, the panel that comes each and every week. Phil, the Full Tank with Phil podcast, Mark, aka SKYBOX NASCAR, and Rory Picks joining us tonight. Phil, your podcast dropped last night. I was able to listen to it as it almost happened live. Thanks for joining as always. And how are you doing going into Watkins Glen?
Derek, I'm feeling good coming out of Indy. Had a good strategy, not taking too many outrights just because of the craziness, and worked out. Hit a bunch of head-to-heads and some finishing position bets. We'll probably do a similar situation this week, and looking forward to chopping it up. It's tough, 2 back-to-back road courses, and we'll see what we get into. But yeah, the pod last night, we had our guy Rye Cape on. He's out there in YouTube land. I just saw a comment from him. Great conversation with him and really good information. Talking with him last night. So looking forward to the weekend for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into everything here with you tonight, and I know it's going to be a lot of fun. Mark, I'm going to kick it over to you next. I know you're in Chicago right now, so how's everything going for you? All right, we may or may not have had a technical glitch. Everybody got me now? Everybody got me on Twitter Spaces? I think you do. May or may not have a technical glitch. All good. So, Mark, how are you feeling going into this weekend with Watkins Glen? I know that there's a lot happening. Actually, I want to get to Rory real quick. Rory, go ahead. I want to hear what your thoughts are as we head to Watkins Glen. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. Had a pretty good little Sunday. I did some McDriver at plus 1,200 early after I figured out he's got a pretty good machine there. And got unfortunate with KFB blowing up, and I feel like that top 5 should have cashed, and ended up cashing Elliott top 3 plus 180.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that probably was almost one of my favorite bets of the week. I had a feeling he was gonna show up. I thought plus 180 early in the week. Good money grab considering I figured he'd qualify well and that wouldn't be even close to being available later on. So it worked out pretty good this weekend. Trucks and Xfinity, they were kind of blah, but other than that, it's just back to the grind again, get these road courses and one last super speedway out of the way and get the show on.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. I think we're going to have a lot of really good conversations here tonight, man. Mark, I'm going to kick it over to you. I know you're in the Chicago area right now. So how are you doing? You got me loud and clear? No, you don't. You're showing me your phone on Twitter. You can hear me, but you can't talk. So if you don't know sign language on YouTube, we're going to have issues.
I can hear you, but yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to kick it over to Jason. I want to welcome
you two
Jason,
can hear.
first time guest of the show here this evening. And Jason, you do so much from NASCAR DFS, NASCAR betting. Go ahead and tell the people how they, can kind of interact with you, because I know you've got so much stuff going on behind the scenes as well.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. Big fan of the show. Excited to be here, talk NASCAR, my home track at Watkins Glen. You can support me. You can follow me on Twitter, NASCAR DFS _picks. Also, my website, racingaction.net. Do a weekly article, post some free picks on the betting side, the DFS side. Also have a Patreon for some premium content. Post the full card every week there, and some DFS projections and picks there as well.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you obviously joining and getting into it. We connected at Pocono and had a really nice time. So I was looking forward to having you on here this evening. And Mark, I'm actually going to kick it over to you. Curious if you can hear me now. So test. I think you can. Yep. Giving me some fist bumps. So how we doing, man?
God, me and technology, dude. I don't get it. All right. Sorry, I fucked this whole beginning of this episode up, so I apologize. But I'm doing good now. Just stressed for a little bit. Man, it's amazing when races go green, right? We saw a lot of green flag laps at Richmond. We had a late caution but it didn't matter. Buescher still won. Fastest car still won. And we didn't see any, stupid cautions at Indy Road. So, I'd like to think that that's not going to happen 3 times in a row coming to Watkins Glen, but I would be pleasantly surprised. I'm going to bet that way, and I hope it doesn't happen, and I hope we have a great race, and I'm fired up. Yeah, I'm a little flustered. All right, sorry. I was prepared, and then I wasn't prepared, and now I'm back, so let's rock.
It's funny how the youngest guy on the team
here we go.
To work the technology angle, but it's all good, right? We're good now. We're going to get into some topics. We're going to the people what they came to listen to here tonight. So let's do this. Go over a quick show outline, and then we'll dive into everything here tonight. I'm going to go over track facts and data regarding Watkins Glen. I want to hear what the guys have to say from a head-to-head standpoint. We're going to go over some finishing positions, some outright pricing, and then I want to hear what you have to say exclusively on Twitter Spaces from a listening portion. So the bowling at the Glen this weekend, the Sunday. So it's going to be 20 laps in the first stage, 20 laps in the second stage, and 50 laps run to the finish in that final and third stage. Again, there are no stage breaks, meaning that there's no cautions coming out. We're going to see everything play out naturally this weekend. Again, I'm looking forward to that. Saturday at 12:30, we're going to have practice. Qualifying on Saturday will be at 2:30. Then the race will be Sunday at 3 p.m. Some history and some track trends. HMS has won the last 4 Watkins Glen races. Chase Elliott won 2, and then Kyle Larson won the last 2. So they have 4 in HMS the last 4 races. Is starting position important? And this was commented on Phil's podcast. So Phil, I got to give you a call out. Top 10s, 79% of the time, the winner has come from the top 10 starting position. Top 5 starting position, 39% of the winners have come from that top 5 spot at the Glen. So Phil, I'm going to kick it over to you first. I'm curious from a head-to-head standpoint, what have you been able to find the people here tonight? I know you had a good weekend at Indy, but what do we have right now for Watkins Glen?
I'll start by saying that, just to give Mark some shit here, my mom is currently in Scotland at St. Andrews in the golf course, was able to somehow, set up a live feed for me to, watch the golfers come in. And she has a better handle on technology this week than Mark does. Just, wanted to throw that out there. Head-to-heads this week. It was pretty good last week at Indy. So I'm hoping to keep some of the good juju going in. I'm actually, picking on Mark because I know later I think the guy that I'm going up against in this head-to-head, Mark's actually going to be talking about him. So we'll hear about that. But the head-to-head that I'm going with is Ty Gibbs over AJ Allmendinger. And I want to start by just saying AJ was somebody that I was on last week, and we saw what went down there. And I think that there's something else going on with him. Guys in the group chat were commenting on stuff like off the track with him. Seems like a very strange situation, kind of a broken dude right now. And then you look at the actual stats, and I was on him last week. I thought his number was decent, but he's gotten slower at every road course that we've gone to in 4 races this year. His average finish is 20.8. I mean, that's pretty weird for AJ Allmendinger. And it, most recently not getting better. He had that thing with Blaney, throwing a hissy fit on the radio. Then you look at Gibbs, complete opposite. 2 ships in the night right here. He's getting faster each race, it seems like. And, in this season, 2 top 10s, he's 4 for 4 finishing in the top 20. AJ's got 2 top 20s. He's 3-1 versus AJ head-to-head so far this year. And so I'm getting Ty as an underdog in this matchup, -110. I just really like what I saw with Ty. I think, the guys who were good last week are going to be, relatively okay starting out this week. And Ty, I think he's going to put you in around 10 to 15. And I think from what we've seen from AJ, that should be good enough to win this matchup in a head-to-head. I'm shocked that I'm saying that because I have been an AJ better in the past, but I'm flipping the script on him this week, and I'm going to go with the young guy. So Ty over AJ.
So you're going to go Ty over AJ, like you said. I mean, I know I have problems trusting Ty. I had him for a top 10 last week, and that guy, he was fast, right? He went from 25th, it came all the way back to 12th. No cautions to bail him out. So we know that 54 is fast, and he's starting to go through the tracks again for a second time. We know some of these venues he's going for a third time with given some of the history of last year. But yeah, so you're going to go Gibbs over Allmendinger. And if you're watching on YouTube, you're able to see through the ticker at the bottom of each group we talk about. We're going to have the plays down there of each guy, what they're talking about. So if you're able to check that out, do so. But again, Phil went with Ty Gibbs -105 over AJ Allmendinger there. So let's do this. I want to go to Mark next. And Mark, what have you been able to find from the head-to-head market?
I just got to start by saying that I would not sleep with any of these matchups being offered. I'm not crazy about them. And I would use the word wouldn't sleep because I didn't want to be as vulgar. You're picking up my drift. Now, from the book's perspective, I think they did a good job this week. I have some leans. I'm going to talk about a lean tonight. I have not bet this. Will I bet this? The answer is maybe. I don't know, but I think it's an intriguing matchup to talk about. So Brad Keselowski +120 over Ryan Blaney. And Blaney had arguably his best road course performance last week at Indy Road, and it was like, he's like a 15th place car. And Brad was off strategy, and, they tried it, yada, yada. But I'm going to take Brad here. And every model that I look at, I'm looking at 3 particularly in this one. I usually look at these 3 weekly. All 3 of them have Brad Keselowski higher in their model than Ryan Blaney. So we look at it. Highline Betting has Brad 6 spots ahead of Blaney. Also has all 4 road courses this year. His NLD speed ranking, 4 spots ahead of Blaney. WinTheRace.info, 2 spots ahead of Blaney. FRCS AccuPredictor, 3 spots ahead of Blaney. That's Brad. So I understand models are great, and I love models, and I'm going to keep spewing all this nonsense about models because I believe in them. But let's look at the 4 races in a little bit, more in depth. So head-to-head, it's split 2-2, but the speed ranking is not. Brad's got him in 3 out of the 4. The one that he didn't was Coda, and he wrecked, so got to throw that one out. Average finishing position, Brad's got him by about a position. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's 4 or 5 things that line up to say, okay, Brad is better than Blaney on road courses. Historically, a decade ago, albeit, Brad's had a great few runs in a row. I think he finished top 3 like 3 times in a row, like 10 years ago. So I'm not throwing a mega hammer here, but I do like the plus money on Brad Keselowski over Ryan Blaney. And Blaney has not done shit worth of nothing at road courses. Neither has his teammate Logano. So I'm totally fine fading anything to do with Penske at plus money with Brad K. Not saying Brad's going to go out there and even finish in the top 10, but I like him at plus money over Blaney this week.
Okay. Okay, so you like him over Blaney, like you were saying. And a couple comments I'm seeing here on YouTube. So we got Herb. So what's up, Herb? Herb says, loves the show, listens every week, first time catching it live. Welcome. You've seen a flawless, no issues at all from a technology standpoint for the first 15 minutes. So good thing that you've been able to catch this live. And then Rye, our guy, and Phil, he was on your show here last night. Rye is saying, Mark, the model Harris. So Mark is definitely a model follower there. So Rory, I'm going to kick it over to you next. Where have you been able to find a matchup and where, what book, where's the edge this weekend?
Laying coin is just like shit on Penske this week. I'm gonna go with a little Alex Bowman, the showman, minus 115 over Austin Cindric. I mean, Bowman looked pretty damn good last week. He was running some pretty fast laps towards the end of that race as well. Pulled out of the top 5 thanks to KFB blowing the motor. And I think Bowman and them are the better team, and Alex Bowman's a pretty damn good road course driver. I mean, I know that's what Cindric's kind of known for, but I mean, Cindric ain't done shit all year. So I'm just basically fading the driver that hasn't done a damn thing all year, going against the guy that needs to win to get into the playoffs. And it's pretty damn good on road courses. And here and there, I mean, if he gets put in the right situation in the right spot, he, possibly could win. But I mean, Highline's model, I think it's like a four spot gap on it, but I feel like it should possibly be even more than that this year. If you're talking about this year set alone, I mean, Austin Cindric and them have just flat out struggled. I mean, I haven't said that Bowman has been all that great ever since he came back from his concussions, but at least they got some momentum going from last week and something to build on. So, running a road course last week and coming to this week, I mean, I look for Bowman to be up there, at least in the top 10. I don't think Cindric's going to be in the top 10.
Okay, so you don't think Cindric's going to be in the top 10. It's an interesting thing to think about, right? So, you guys, laying coin right now is fading Penske a little bit, and Bowman, I've heard Bowman's name a few times come up this weekend. Bowmanless Bowman, some are calling him, different things there. So be interested to hear if Bowman's name comes up again here later. But Jason, I want to kick it over to you next. I want to hear what you have to say from a head-to-head standpoint. Where are we at in this specific market?
All right, so I'm going Kyle Busch over Christopher Bell minus 105. You can get that on Caesars, or at least earlier today, that's where it was. So in my opinion, Watkins Glen is a track that favors the veteran drivers. Kyle Busch leads those stat sheets: 2 wins, 7 top 5s, 13 top 10s, 247 laps led at the Glen. Then you look at his road course stats this year: 2nd at Coda, 5th at Sonoma, 5th at Chicago. Or 2nd at Sonoma, 5th at Chicago. Had a good car last week. I think it was a top 5 car before he had that issue. You look at the 8 car last year at Watkins Glen. Reddick ran top 5 in stage 1, recovered from a spin in stage 2, finished 7th. Then you look at Bell, only 2 starts at Watkins Glen, respectable finishes, 8th last year and 7th in 2021. But then this year, right, he's had some issues, had issues at Coda, 9th at Sonoma, had issues at Chicago, and the 9th last week in Indy. So Bell isn't horrible. I think he's like a 7th, 8th, 9th place car. But I think Kyle Busch is a top 5 car. So I'll gladly take the 105, and I think that's a favorable number this week.
All right, so you're taking the minus 105 there, or the 105 action. Be curious because, Busch has been out to lunch here the last few weeks. He even tweeted out after the race about how lost he is right now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on his end. Let's move into the finishing prop market here. And Mark, actually going to start with you, and hopefully your technology is still working. What have you been able to find from a finishing position prop as we head into Watkins Glen?
As of right now, looking good, sounded good, I think. And early in the week, I really loved Truex, top 5, plus 140. I got down not as much as I wanted to. But But as I was doing some more digging, I came across Tyler Red Dog Reddick, who is not at 140, but very close, plus 135 for a top 5 over at Bet Rivers. And there's a lot to like about Tyler Reddick. There's a little bit not to like, and we're going to go over that, but there's a ton to like about Tyler Reddick, especially on road courses. So let's start with what we don't like. We do not like Tyler Reddick on pit road. We don't like pit stops. We don't like cone violations. We don't like whatever it is. Lug nut not getting tight. The last feels like 5 or 6 races, except for last week. That's how it's been going. And our buddy Highline's got his pit crew as the 22nd best pit crew. That doesn't seem to me like a very championship winning set. So other than that, he's got great numbers. He's got great stats in just about anything. The last 5 races this year, he hasn't had a speed ranking higher than 7th. So this car has speed. This team has speed, and we've seen him win on road courses the last 2 years in this car. So Highline model, got him 2nd. Win the race model, got him 3rd. NLD ranking on the 4 races this year, 3rd in the Cup Series. Average running position, 2nd with 8.7. He's got 2 top 5s this year. Chicago Street, I think he had one of the best cars. He finished in the top 3 in both stages. I could go on and on about how good Tyler Reddick has been. You guys have already heard it. You've heard it from me. You've heard it from other people. And I like the line. I like plus 135 for a top 5. I liked Truex at plus 140 if you can get that anywhere else. But my official play is Tyler Reddick, top 5, plus 135. I'm going to be, heartbroken if it's another pit crew. But you heard it here first. Tyler Reddick, top 5, plus 135.
All right, so Reddick it is, top 5, like you said, in that 45 car. I think he has a strong showing. He did say afterwards in the race at Indy, which made me want to go the opposite way. When he goes to Indy, he's lost. When he goes to Watkins Glen, he's lost. So I don't know if you heard that, Mark, but if you didn't, now you did. So that was one thing that I found was interesting because they were kind of asking him a little bit there. Rory, I'm going to kick it over to you next. What have you been able to find specifically in a finishing position prop?
Well, hell, let's run it back with the guy that won the race last week with a top 5 plus 200, McDowell. I mean, breaks out 3rd in Highline's model. I mean, we already know McDowell's way up there. He's been good all season on the road courses, and I just love plus 200 top 5 on a guy that I think can absolutely win this race. I mean, last year he was right up there, competing with Larson and Elliott, leading some of the race at the beginning on rain tires. So I'm just going to go back to the well and go with probably the hottest driver on road courses this year, Michael McDowell.
Okay, so McDowell, you think the guy that obviously won last week has another strong showing here this week, and you're going with McDowell there. Jason, how about you? Curious to hear what you've been able to find in the finishing position prop this weekend.
Yeah, so I'm going Martin Truex Jr. plus 210 for top 3. I saw that on Bet Rivers and Caesars. So Truex has great numbers at Watkins Glen. Go ahead and throw out last year, right? Toyota was horrible at road courses. But before that, he finished 3rd in 2021, 2nd in 2019, 2nd in 2018, and 1 back in 2017. Toyota running much faster, good speed on road courses this year. Obviously, he won at Sonoma, where he had good track history. So I'm going to apply that same logic that paid off for me at Sonoma and go with the track history and take him top 3 this week.
Okay, you're going to take him top 3 this week. There was one thing I did not do that I wish I would have done in the last segment. If somebody out there, YouTube or Twitter, whatever it is, can find me the best price on Martin Truex over Chase Elliott, I would love to see what the people can find from a number standpoint. I think I saw a plus 120 out there. I'm curious if anything's greater. Anybody versus Chase, curious to hear what the best number out there is. So if somebody can find me that'd be great. Phil, I'm going to let you close out this segment here. Where are we at or did you already go? You already went, right? No, you did not go. All right. So I'm trying to juggle like 17 different things here. So give us your opinion here on the finishing position prop. Where are we going and why?
No big deal, Derek. Just mush the bet. No problem. So looking at the road courses, I love betting top tens, and the top 10 market this week, you know, it's definitely wonky now. Our secret of McDowell is out. So it's just a huge drop off, like minus 160 now to the guys who are plus money. But in trying to find someone who is plus money, who's worth a shot, somebody already mentioned him earlier. And I'm looking at Alex Bowman. He's plus 120 for a top 10. I think that's very doable. And we'll start with the bad. 0 top 10s at Watkins Glen in the last 4 races there. And he's got, you know, good, decent enough showing. 3 of the last 4 races, though, were top 15. So he's just not over that hump of what we need to cash this ticket. But looking at road courses since 2022, his average finish in NASCAR is 9th out of everyone. 15.1 total speed is 8th out of everyone. So those are decent numbers, putting you in the game a little bit more for cashing this ticket. And this year, specifically focusing on what we're getting out of him, he's been really good. 3rd fastest in total speed in the 4 races that we've had, 2 top 10s of the 4 races. He finished 5th last week. Looking at his average finish, it might kind of scare some people off. 37th at Chicago. And I think some of us could say, like, that doesn't really, you know, you could to bolster your debate topic here, throw that out. And if you want to just look at the other 3 road courses and see how everyone stacks up, he's 3rd in average finish. So he is someone that could bring it. He's been fast, and I've been digging into some of the comments. I liked what I heard from him last week. He was saying, you know, everyone's telling us we're running like shit for a while. And I didn't really feel that way. We were running well. We just weren't getting the finishes. And now we've got a little bit of momentum. He said, haven't historically been great at Watkins Glen, but haven't really run that great at Indy. And look what we did, finishing 5th. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from Bowman, and plus 120, like I said, scanning for someone down the list that could get it. I think he definitely could.
Okay, so you're on Bowman there, like you said. Yeah, so a lot of good, compelling pieces there regarding different drivers listed. So it gives us a lot going into the weekend, especially, and since we gave out some of those informations regarding where guys are starting and some of how they're how they do from a winning standpoint, the percentage there. So let's go into the outright market now. And actually, Jason, I'm going to start with you regarding this market. What have you been able to find from a price point, kind of leading in? Are you looking at the top of the board, or somewhere in the middle, or down at the bottom? Where are we headed?
Yeah, so I'm going back to Michael McDowell this week. I was on him last week, paid off big. I got him yesterday plus 1,400 outright, bet Rivers. I think he's down to plus 1,300. I've seen some plus 1,200s as well. So I have McDowell ranked 4th in my pre-practice, pre-qualifying model. Last year at Watkins Glen, he started 3rd, led 14 laps, finished 6th. Obviously the big win last week. He's been running well on the road courses all year. Some interesting comments that were made post-race. So like his crew chief, Travis Peterson said that Watkins Glen is McDowell's best track. He was on Denny Hamlin's podcast earlier this week. McDowell said he's going for the win this weekend, and it's his best road course. So I think he unloads fast. I think he qualifies in the top 5. I don't see this number sticking around too much longer. So trying to beat the market on McDowell, get in now.
Okay, so you're saying get in now when it comes to beating the market on him. So, Phil or Rory, I'm going to kick it over to you next. Curious to hear where have you been able to find some value in the outright market?
Well, I'm going to go with arguably the fastest car last week and a guy that had a problem with hose. Me and Migo jumped on him when Bet Rivers opened at plus 1,400. I think now best you can find is plus 1,100 unless I missed something. But I still like the plus 1,100. I mean, I feel like they're going to bring a strong car and they're going for the win to get my man into the playoffs like he did last year. And what better place to do it than a road course? I feel like that's probably his strongest place to get a win and good runs at. So I think Trackhouse throws it all in on Suarez this week. All the attention is there, and if they don't have any pit road problems, I I expect for me Amigo to be right up there, giving it hell right there at the end of that race. Get a green, white checkered. I know damn good and well he's going to be wreckers or checkers.
Okay, so wreckers or checkers for him. Phil, what about you? Where are we headed from the outright market, and what have you been able to find this week?
Yeah, like I said, I only played one outright last week, and it was somebody towards the top of the board and just said, let me give me somebody that I know has a chance to get it done. And this week, that person is Elliott. I'm not going to spend 3 or 4 minutes talking about Elliott. We already know who that is and what he's going to bring to the table. So I'll go with his teammate, and we'll talk about it. A little bit better value here for Kyle Larson. Larson, I guess the knock on him, if you didn't want him, is the speed this season. Just, it hasn't really been there. I think a lot of people were expecting him to go out and dominate Sonoma, and, he really didn't do that. Just overall road course speed, he's total speed is 9th. So there's a good amount of guys ahead of him, and they're the usual suspects that we've seen so far this year. But specifically, it's Watkins Glen and these OG road courses. I mean, I think, Jason touched on it. The veteran guys, looking at Sonoma and Watkins Glen, we got to give him a better look. And we're talking about the guy who has won the last 2 races at this racetrack. So to get him at 5-1, yeah, we know Elliott's going to be good. And he's bringing it down a little bit. So Larson 5-1, different places. He stands out to me. And 4.0 average finish in the last 4 Watkins Glens. 4 for 4 finishing in the top 10. He's 1 win, 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s in the last 10 road course races overall since 2022. He's just as an impact player, I guess you could say, this week as anybody. And then you look, it's like, oh shit, it's Kyle Larson we're talking about here. Like he's one of the best drivers in the world right now. So I'm into it. And what I really want is a line on Hendrick as a team. I want to see what that would be. I haven't seen it. Barstool used to offer that. They don't right now. So if anybody sees that, I'd like to know just what that number is. But I'll throw Larson out there for people to, let me know what they think.
Yeah, I'll have to find out what that number is. I haven't looked to see what a team. I know what Chevy is. They're currently minus 130 to win, and I'm going to have a conversation with an individual about that and what we kind of think there. So, Mark, I'm going to go to you next and let you close out this market. What have you found from an outright perspective?
Yeah, I had a tough time landing this week. Right when odds opened, I had Chase 5-1 on Caesars Monday night. I was staring at it probably no longer than 10 minutes, it felt like. And that number was quickly gone. I got down on him at 4.5. But I also stared at Reddick 12-1 for about an hour. And I didn't pull the trigger, and now that's unbettable, or for me at this point. So I landed on my massive rehab-stricken addiction. And I want to be a little rhetorically interactive here for a second. AJ Allmendinger is at 17-1 on Caesar Sportsbook. 17-1. Because of what? 2 bad races? 1 race he got wrecked last week. I think he had a pretty good car. I don't think he had a race-winning car, but I think he had a top 7 car. Okay, he's had a top 7, top 5 car at the first 2 road courses this year. And I'm not gonna jump into a bunch of numbers because it's AJ Allmendinger at 7-1. All hail Mr. Caesar Sportsbook. They hang a line at 17-1. I can't pass it up. It's an addiction. We go to a road course. I bet AJ Allmendinger. Those are the rules. Okay? I don't make the rules. Don't think. Just bet. He finished second last year at Watkins Glen. He wasn't the second best car, but he finished second. Okay, he's had 2 bad races, Chicago Street and Indy Road. Are we forgetting the books? Caesars, Mr. Caesars forgetting who AJ Allmendinger is. He is one of the best road course racers that we have. Now, if Colleague can give him a little, a 10th here and a 10th there, come on, give me something, right? This is his last, I'm going to call it last legitimate shot to make the playoffs. They got to be throwing their eggs in this basket. AJ Allmendinger, 17-1, Caesar Sportsbook. It's still available.
All right, let's talk this out, Mark, just real quick. So you said this year, 2 bad races. I guess we're going to throw out Chicago, right? That just was a weird race altogether. So you're saying that 2 bad races, Sonoma, I guess 3, right? Sonoma, Indy, Coda. I forget what he did off the top of my head. What did he do last year that warrants us to even look at him this year? Did he do anything last year? Like, what comes to mind other than the name, which you're going to run to and be like, AJ, he's our guy. This is Xfinity.
Yeah.
So what is it?
Okay, it's. I was literally about to say it's AJ Allmendinger on a road course. He's got 1 win since 2014, and it was in the Gen 6 car at Indy Road. I get it, but he goes out there and he waxes everybody in the Xfinity field. Okay, I know that has no. Well, it has a little bit of merit in my mind, but has no merit on how what kind of car he gets from Colleague. I just think, I mean, if you want me to throw numbers at you, he finished second in this race last year. So I think that's important. I don't have his finishes up in front of me of the last 8 or 9 road course races. I understand that they're not perfect. They're not like race winning. But when AJ Allmendinger on a road course can put, here I go again, just going back to the name. He's a ringer. Okay. His nickname's a ringer. I don't have anything for you. I have a 2nd place finish at Watkins Glen last year. That's what you get.
I know there are some that probably are on AJ. I am not. So that's why I kind of wanted to go there. So let's do this. I want to go into the best bet portion, right? The money segment, if you will, presented by NASCAR Money, NASCARmoney.com, and hear what the guys have to say. And Phil, I'm going to start with you. So when it comes to a best bet, most value, however you want to phrase it, where are we headed this weekend?
So the bet that I had queued up that I sent you, Derek, is a driver that we've heard a lot about already. So I'll talk about him real quick, and then I'll touch on a secondary bet just to throw in as a little bonus. But I had sent to you earlier Truex, and I think Jason took him top 3. Ryan and I talked about him at length last night on the podcast, and I was going to talk about plus 120 for a top 5. Just to put the cherry on top of what everyone talked about already, a couple different ways. I mean, it goes back to the veteran drivers on the OG road courses. And last year, Toyota was dog shit on road courses, so he had 26th place finish. You throw that out, we're looking at finishes of 3rd, 2nd, and 2nd in the previous races at Watkins Glen. We saw what he did at the Sonoma race this year, so he's had flashes of his old self, and I think kind of just getting back to business on this type of track that he's seen a bunch. It's good stuff. So Truex seems like a lot of us are on him in various ways. The other bet that I'll throw out there just for fun here, Caesars is giving us. So last week, I think I threw in overtime and anticipating some craziness. We got nothing, no craziness. And so that's leading me to this bet. Winner of stage 1 wins the race. It's plus 325. I like it because you look at last week, McDowell won stage 1, he won the race. And the winner of stage 2 is actually plus 275. But I think stage 2 gives us, if we have these long green flag runs, it gives us an opportunity to have some guys cycle through. Like Hamlin was, staying out for a while. He won stage 2. So I kind of am digging this plus 325 just as a fun bet there, because if you do have somebody like Chase, somebody who's just like, already bringing the odds down, an expected favorite, and they're out there and they win stage 1, live betting, they're probably going to be shorter than that. So I think that could be a fun little bet to throw in. So a little overtime bet there or I won't say overtime, bonus bet here that I didn't send you earlier there, Derek.
I always like a bonus bet, so I appreciate that, Phil. You got Worm clapping like crazy right now in the chat. So awesome.
That's
awesome.
rare.
That is rare. Yeah, that is rare. So win one for Phil there tonight. So Mark, I'm going to kick it over to you next. Where are we going, my man?
We're going to bend the rules, just like our buddy Full Tank Phil likes to do from time to time. Chris, thank you. I see you're clapping for me. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Derek. I'm going to bend the rules. Phil goes to SRX. I go to Xfinity. I'm wearing the shirt. All right. It's the best series in America. Oh, here we go. Justin Allgaier, top 3, 3-1. Okay. I love this play so much that I'm bending the rules, and we're going to put this in there. Now, of all the Xfinity guys that have raced on all 5 road courses this year, he's got the best average running position. He's got the most laps led, and when he leads laps, he leads a shitload of them. Obviously, late cautions fiasco at Road America allowed his buddy, teammate, Sam Mayer, who has the best average finish out of all Xfinity regulars. Justin Allgaier has second. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. And even with Gibbs, Kyle Busch, Chastain in the 91, that doesn't matter. Bowman in the field. Our buddy Highline has Allgaier first. Again, if you look at the metric, it's first by like 3 numbers. I can count a couple numbers, not very big. Don't do a lot of math, but I can count that there is a massive split between the first guy in his model and the second guy in his model. And the first guy in his model is Justin Allgaier. Take him top 3, 3-1. I slammed 10-1 outright. I slammed 850 again. Just take Justin Allgaier this week in the Xfinity race. That's all I got.
Okay, Justin Allgaier in Xfinity. See, when you held your shirt up, it says Xfinity, but then the other side says Sam Hunt Racing. So I thought we were going a Sam Hunt,
No.
play here.
No. Don't worry about it. Just this side.
Yeah, just that side. All right. So, Rory, I'm going to kick it over to you next. Where are we going from a best bet perspective? What have you found for us? What's like the one thing you're keen on this weekend?
I'm just going to be boring and go with the guy that I think is probably going to win the race. I didn't bite on him early. I don't know. I just would rather take him on top 3 plus 100, and that's Chase Elliott. After what I seen last week, they were looks like they didn't got their mojo back a little bit on the road course. He looked pretty damn strong as the race continued. So I feel like that benefits him going back-to-back road courses, getting the reps in last week, almost winning, and come back this week to a place that he's had some pretty good damn success at in the past, and probably should have won this race last year, but Larson wanted it more. So knocked him out the way, and that worked out all right too, because we had Larson live last year. But it's one of those things where the cream rises to the top, and it's almost kind of like the final race of the year when you got the final 4 up there. It's usually those guys. Well, I feel like this race right here, a cutoff race, and you got some guys that are damn good road course racers close to the cutoff line. I expect for all those guys to show out and show up at speed. So I don't mind taking Chase on top 3 at plus 100. I don't think he'll be able to get a plus number after practice and qualifying.
Yeah, I don't mind anybody right now that's jumping on Chase. Personally, it's helping, the odds and the value throughout the course of the other drivers. So it's helping really where I'm starting to find some value personally. So you're on Chase. You said there top 3. Jason, want to kick it to you here last and, kind of get your perspectives from a best bet standpoint. Where are we headed going into the weekend? And thanks again so much for joining us here tonight.
Yeah, thanks again for having me on. So I'm going with a safe play for the best bet. Kyle Larson plus 110, top 5. You can find that at Bet Rivers. So I have Larson ranked second in my pre-practice qualifying model. Phil talked about him. Won Watkins Glen last 2 years. However, if there's a late race restart, I don't see him running his teammate wide for the win. Right? I think there might be some team orders at play this year. But HMS is great at Watkins Glen. They bring fast cars. They've won the last 4 races. They're going to bring fast cars again this year. I think Larson will unload fast, qualify top 5. I think him and Elliott will be on a 2-stop strategy if the race stays green. It's going to be hard to beat them. I think he runs safely in the top 5 all day.
Okay, so you think he runs top 5 all day, like you said. And then also the other thing that I thought was interesting that you commented on is if it stays green, the 2-stop strategy. Obviously, we don't have cautions that are going to come out or, kind of predicted cautions, I should say, with the stage break. So that could be something interesting to kind of think of as well. I don't think it necessarily stays green, or I would say it's harder to predict it's going to stay as green as it was last week with one caution, but that's just me. This is a higher speed venue where we've seen a lot of different incidents where, there's some more runoff at Indy than there is at Watkins Glen. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of shakes down there. I want to say to the YouTube audience right now, switch over to Twitter Spaces because we're going to go over the listener portion. I think we're going to have some good conversations over there. So I think now would be a good time to switch over to the Twitter Spaces. We're going to close down the YouTube, and appreciate so many that supported the YouTube side as we went through all this. And you can get connected with each of the guys that I have listed here below. And appreciate you guys tuning in from the YouTube side. When we look at what's happening on the Twitter Spaces side, now if you have any questions or comments or anything, now would be a good time to come on up and share some of your comments and questions. Christopher, I know that you've been waiting here a little while, so I want to give you an opportunity to go ahead and speak, man.